Looking through the past 2.5 decades or so of my experience in information communication technology, I do see how it has helped improve the pace, efficiency, economy, and reliability of transactions in a variety of application domains, maybe like a stock exchange, like banking, like space research, like media communications, etc. etc. You see it all around as to how it has helped create a global network of people who can seamlessly transact with each other across time zones, across regional barriers, adopt ICT so fast at the same pace to deliver a unfragmented, phase. Let's take a look at the current scenario. Healthcare delivery process seems to be fragmented all over. Patient information, for example, my health records lie in those hospitals which are visited. There's no integrated health record across these which I can carry with me or I can access from wherever ubiquitously. Records in most places, especially in the developing countries, are still in printed hard copies. They don't even have an electronic copy. So if I'm traveling and I fall sick, I just don't have access to my old records unless I carry the whole file with me. It also leads to typos, manual entry errors, loss of privacy because hard copies can be kept somewhere and is accessible easily. While all these are in terms of maintaining records of the patient, you also see a lot of technology folks are putting in specific technologies to solve specific problems in healthcare, so much in a silo that they don't interoperate with each other. There's a billing package, there is a hospital information system, there could be RIS, there could be a telemedicine package, there could be a scheduling package. These things, if they don't talk to each other seamlessly, you also see that knowledge bases are in silos in a lot of research organizations, in academia, in hospitals. There's nothing that's bringing these things together seamlessly and including them as a part of the care delivery process, creating awareness to patients, medical education, hand in hand with treatment, with how to deal with patients, how to do counseling. It's all in silos right now. Although a lot of work is being done world over, investing and reinvesting and reinventing wheels. From a care flow delivery standpoint, I also see it's fragmented. I'm a different person in one hospital, again registered, one more hospital, one more identification card given to me, one more record created to me. I'm a different person in my family physician's clinic, different in my pharmacy. At home, I'm supposed to be somebody. Why not have a continuum of care? Because eternally, through the care cycle, I have to have a journey across these entities only. I have to be either in a hospital or in a clinic or in a pharmacy buying some medicine, or I'm at home or at my office working. I still need care. I need continuum of care. At this point of time, these are all independent fragments. And part of the reason that these things have not come together is not probably technology. Technology is probably a smaller part. The bigger part is probably there is no established automation of commercial transactions between various provider entities, like a pharmacy and a clinic and a specialist doctor and a hospital and a nurse have no organization except the hospital building. They have no virtual organization when they can come together on a business paradigm of delivering a service and work together so that the patient sees one face of healthcare. What is the impact of this whole fragmented scenario? Affordability, unfortunately, is hit because everybody is trying to reinvest in infrastructure. They are not trying to amortize the resource utilization across a larger pool of patients. There are doctors and specialists in some place, and there are patients in some other place. They are not being able to work with each other because they are in silos. Knowledge transitioning to practical care is delayed because of this fragmentation. It's also an issue because most of these automation we are talking about is highly enterprise centric. It is hardly from a patient's point of view. And it is also from an ownership standpoint very confusing because who owns healthcare process in a virtual system? Is it the hospital? Is it the telecom provider? Is it the hardware and software supplier who automates the system? Is it the insurance provider? If something goes wrong in the system, who is responsible? So these are all things that are not addressed because there's no mechanism of putting together a systematic business logic that brings together these various heterogeneous entities to come together as one face and deliver care from a patient's perspective as a continuum of care. We are set about achieving this in what we call the integrated healthcare exchange. Here, hospitals, homes, clinics, pharmacies, insurance companies, legal entities are all seen as entities which facilitate delivery of care. Now, facilitating their collaboration is IHCX business. Electronically enabling, automating their collaboration is IHCX business. Now, how does this help in the process? We see that it helps to aggregate demand and supply for higher efficiency and amortize to a lower cost. It also provides a citizen-friendly continuum between preventive and curative care. Right now, those are disjoint sets. And collaborating entities such as pharmacies and hospitals and law firms and insurance agencies can come together on a value-based revenue share with the infrastructure providers. You don't have to buy medical devices. You can rent it out. You can pay per transaction having used the device. You can pay per transaction having used a computing infrastructure, a communication infrastructure. It also helps in faster adoption of innovation into the healthcare delivery, practical delivery process, because now you have a network society working together. Easier said than done, such a network has to adopt a very scientific approach in its architecture and operations, bringing together a mix of heterogeneous technologies. IHCX is designed to separate the problem into a layered stack of domains. For example, at the bottom layer, you are only worried about how to physically exchange information between one computing system and another computing system, how to transfer information between one hospital software and another hospital software, how to make the billing system talk to a third-party HIS system to RIS system. How do you make sure all these transmissions happen very safely, securely, and they are stored in a very encrypted fashion? How do you provide disaster management support for this such that if some natural calamity happens, you can still recover back the system? These are all issues addressed at the bottom layer of physical transport layer. Now, above this, you can imagine the second layer where we are discussing about how do doctors collaborate, what is healthcare information, how to manage diabetes, how to handle a person who is old, what is old age geriatric care program, how do we manage the disease or wellness of a person or a group of people. This layer is about care, we call it the care layer. Above this, there are certain governing principles of such a program which delivers care. We call it program layer, which basically deals with the nuances of policies and processes that govern and the commerce that governs transactions that happen within a program for delivery of a care for a group of individuals or a single individual. Using the specialists and the entities, all the entities I mentioned together. So in this process, a number of technical issues have to be addressed. For example, on the IHCX, we have got 7 levels of data security. We have data access control based on the roles, the entities, and the groups of entities, as well as the programs which are authorized to access. There is authorization for privileges based on the role as to what a role can do. For example, I could be a doctor, a specialist radiologist. What am I enabled to do on the system is dependent upon the authorizations given to me. They can be customized. In addition to the username, password, login that usually you have, we have also enabled it with biometric interfaces like fingerprint and iris and photographs, facial images. We have also provided the infrastructure for a VPN connectivity, so groups of entities collaborating can have their own VPN, virtual private network facilities. And on top of it, if you still want to access it from somewhere on internet, we also have the access secure through HTTPS connections with secure and encrypted 128-bit protocols.